Let's get into it. Drew, what do we got to start today's show?
Teddy, I'm excited. Stepping in for the great Donnie Rightside, but we got hot topic of today, Teddy. Bucks take game one, 108-100, a 10-0 run. Closes out the Raptors in game one. Of course, we're talking NBA playoffs here, Teddy. And a couple things right before I throw it back to you. We got Leonard and Lowry. They combined for 61 points in the loss for the Raptors. Serge Ibaka was minus 17 in terms of how he was doing on the floor in the 17 minutes he was on the floor, Teddy. We also have Raptors leading by 100-98 at the 3:30 mark of the fourth quarter. Not a good last 3 minutes and 30 seconds there for the Raptors, Teddy.
Was a great last 3 minutes and 30 seconds for me in my bet, as I had Milwaukee, who was not a right side at any point in this ball game. Brutal beat if you had the Raptors. Plus, they were the right side throughout. However, when you don't score a point over the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the game, they even had free throws to take advantage of. No, they didn't score a bucket. And in fact, the last bucket that anyone on the team scored, other than Kyle Lowry, was Siakam's three to close out the third quarter. The rest of the Raptors, besides Lowry, went 0 for 15 from the floor in the fourth. They combined for only 3 free throw attempts between them. We were worried about Kyle Lowry in this series. Lowry played a great fourth quarter. He had every shot, did it on the defensive end. Didn't matter. Raptors, during crunch time, choked it away. And hey, the Bucks played some good ball. Very tough beat, no question. If you had Toronto, and heck, a tough beat in the NHL last night. If you had St. Louis with some refereeing shenanigans that are still very controversial the following morning. But hey, playoffs, sometimes you get the tough beats. There were a pair of them on display last night. Hopefully, you're on the right side of at least one of those two. If you're on the wrong side of both, my condolences.
Absolutely, Teddy. Some of those referee memes on Twitter in the NHL were kind of funny last night. We got the Astros making it 8 in a row, Teddy. Verlander and the Stros closed $3.90, near $4 favorites in the 5-1 win. Verlander, dominant self Wednesday, going 7 innings, giving up just 1 earned run. He improves to 7-1 on the year. Not only does he have a hot girlfriend, he's got a re-erected career here. Houston now at 1, 8 straight games, 11 of 12 overall. Teddy, I'm not looking to bet against this lineup anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not looking to talk about Justin Verlander's erections either. But yeah. When we talk about books right now, okay, there's 8 straight wins for the Astros. All 8 of them have come on the run line. So you can get away with laying a run and a half. Several of them at plus price. Yesterday, they were minus 1.5, minus 220 on the road. You don't see that in MLB very often with the run lines. And yet, still not priced high enough. MLB action, they can't price you out of a winner like they can in football or baseball. And the books taking a beating with Astros money of late.
Teddy, we got betting with the Marlins. Rays take down the Marlins 1-0. Marlins close plus 165 at home to the Rays in the Sunshine Series. It seems no matter who's really on the mound for the Marlins, they can't score enough to even get value. No matter the juice, this lineup really can't hit anybody, Teddy. Marlins have scored 2 or less runs in 10 of their last 11 games, including back-to-back shutouts.
Yeah, they left 11 men on base yesterday, and they went 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You ain't going to win many games like that, and they're doing it day after day after day. I had an opportunity to talk with Jeff Davis from Caesars Sportsbook here in Las Vegas yesterday, and he was talking about putting up a prop. This is a Miami team that's, 10-31 now? They're on pace to be worse than the worst team in MLB history, the 1962 New York Mets, who finished 40-120. Davis saying they might put up a prop at Caesars to see if the Marlins will actually be worse than the Mets. That's the way they're playing the first quarter of the season.
Teddy, let's talk a little NFL team preview here. Let's talk the Atlanta Falcons, just a couple years removed from their Super Bowl bid. Falcons sit 33-1 to win this year's Super Bowl, 16-1 to win the NFC. Their team win total is sitting at 8.5, pretty much market wide right now. Protecting the quarterback was the name of the game for the Falcons in 2009 NFL draft, electing to go with offensive line twice in the first round. Freeman back healthy in 2019 will be added boost to go along with a dominant wide receiver core. They got Jones, Ridley, and Sanu. What are you thinking here with the Falcons?
Well, I mean, last year was nothing but a disappointment for Atlanta. I mean, they had injuries all over the football, but particularly on defense, and the defense wasn't good. The offense, 6.2 yards per play last year. That's a top 5 offense in the league, but the D allowed 6 yards per play. That's a bottom 5 defense. They didn't run the ball all that well. They really couldn't stop the run. 0.4 yards per rush between what they gained and what they allowed. From a turnover perspective, nothing much to talk about. They were +1 for the season. Matt Ryan last year, QBR of 108. That's good. Defense allowed 98. That's not good, but it's not disastrous. Worth noting, last year, a much easier than average schedule. They still finished with a losing record. This year, their schedule upgrade is notable and significant. Was really 4 teams that we talk about with dramatic SOS toughness upgrades. Talked about Chicago early in the week. Atlanta's another one. Miami and Houston are 2 other teams that face much tougher schedules this year than they did last year, which you have to be aware of. All that being said, boy, yeah, I love the offseason moves the Falcons made. I really do. Not worried about flashy, not worried about skill position talent. They're loaded. You talk about the receiving core, you talk about Matt Ryan. What they needed was help in the trenches and help on defense, and that's exactly what they got. The other thing they needed was to get rid of Steve Sarkisian, which is exactly what they did. Sarkisian out the door. Dirk Cutter's going to be calling the plays this year, the offense coordinator for Atlanta. And you talk about the 2 first-rounders in the offensive line. Let's not forget their 2 big free agent signings were also on the offensive line, Jamin Brown and James Carter, along with Luke Stalker at tight end. But, you know, when you look at this offensive line, they could have as many as 4 new starters on that OL. If that unit comes together as it's supposed to, Atlanta's going to put up points in bunches. The defense should be a good notch or 2 better than it was last year, even though their schedule's tough. I'm a little bit bullish on the Falcons this year. I wouldn't be surprised if this team ends up being a Super Bowl contender.